Welcome everybody. Taking my coffee, you will see the real place. Welcome to YCS Niagara. Okay, so let's start with the top 32. So we have feature match, top 32, Esala against Ryan Yu. Okay, let's do a quick introduction. So Ryan Yu finished second after Swiss rounds, taking a 9-1 record. Very clean, with the deck that almost nobody was predicting this weekend, Exorcister. So we saw Exorcister builds top and handful of regional qualifier in August. So Ryan Yu is on his way of trying to win this YCS. So we got then Esala. I'm not gonna pronounce his surname because that shit is just possible.
It's impossible.
He competed in the 2017 World Championship and scored at least 10 YCS top cut plus an UDS top in the time between 2016 and 2019. He technically won in the finals of YCS Atlanta too, but since that was a 3v3 team tournament, he didn't win the trophy on his own. But now he's back, just 5 wins away from the championship. So let's see how it goes.
All right, let's go and pray for Ryan, guys. Let's go pray for Ryan. All right, so the game starts with Esala winning the dice roll and choosing to go first, activating the field spell to get Sharon. What information do you have when someone activates the field spell and search for Sharon as his first action?
That means that he has another tier elements in hand. And from the backstage, one second, I think one of the judges in the backstage is telling me that Esala opened Reinhardt, Merle, and Shaden. That looks like the Trinity to me.
The Trinity to me, yeah, it looks like the Trinity to me as well. Then he activates Sharon, Meal the Reinhardt, and that's a 3-card combo that is very powerful. Any tier element's name plus Sharon and Rhino or an access to them, he's able to do this. With Rhino, he's able to send Hafnis, and he milled 3 with Sharon as well. Oh, sorry. Alright, doing a Kid Kalos, and also... Oh, he chooses to destroy his Kid Kalos. What do you think about this?
I think it's not a good move.
He chose not to use Merle as well.
He chose to not use Merle as well. That's kinda weird, but we saw a Gizmek Orochi in the graveyard. I really don't like the fact that he chose to pop the Kid Kalos with the field spell. I don't know, like I feel like it's very weird, to be honest.
Was he scared of something like impermanence, I guess?
I think he was scared of Gamma, because I think he knows that Ryan is on Gamma. Ryan plays Gamma in the main deck, and since they tested together or talked about theory together, he was using the knowledge on his advantage, but he got punished for that because from what I heard from the backstage, Ryan did not open Gamma.
But this is not playing around Gamma very well.
It's not very well. Yes, I totally agree on that, actually, because in a new chain, then you're gonna use the Kid Kalos.
I think he's playing around impermanence, which is also not very well done, because you're still able to do a Gigantic if you end up being impermed on the Kid Kalos, right? You can summon the Gizmek, do a Dark, then do an Elf. Elf summons the Merle mills 3, and then go into a Gigantic. Gigantic summons... oh, maybe he's not on the Spright engine. I think he's on the Spright engine. There's no way he's not, right?
Okay, so basically, here is the thing. If he gets imperm, at least he gains the mill 5. If he doesn't pop the Kid Kalos and Ryan is imperm, then he cannot mill and he's kinda stuck. Okay, so that actually plays around imperm, doesn't play around Gamma. As I said before, it's a mistake actually, because you can still Gamma the Kid Kalos in the graveyard, right?
To me, it plays around imperm just by milling 5, but you still need to, for it to really play around imperm, you need to do this play and to mill a tier elements, right? Or a very good card.
Yeah.
And it's not unlikely on 5 cards, but you gotta take into account the fact that there is 1 Merle in the graveyard. Rhinoheart is not a name you can mill, so there's only Hofnis, because Sharon already used its effect in the graveyard as well, right? Was it Hofnis that was sent to the graveyard? And
yes, it was Hofnis, and there is still a possibility that he can mill the Merle.
So there's only Sharon in the deck that can be milled. So even milling 5 right now is not really playing around Imperm because you need to play around. You need to play around. I mean, you need to mill a Sharon, which is unlikely in 5 cards. I mean, it's only 40% or
It's not
something.
only there is also a Merly because he didn't use the effect. And there are 2 copies of a Merly because one is in the graveyard.
All right, so that's 5 cards. That must be something around 50%. I don't know. I don't know. It feels weird to me still, but it's a move that we can understand definitely. All right. So he's searching a Merly with the Kit Kados. Then he's milling 5 with the Kit Kados. He didn't normal summon, so adding the Merly is giving him access to mill 3 plus having access to either elf.
He didn't mill anything,
him
but then he
access to
normals. Then he normals the Merly, and as we saw, basically, now he has an Orochi in the graveyard and he has a Snow in the graveyard. And now he goes into an elf. Seems like this elf is gonna end this turn, because there is nothing else he can do, I believe. If he doesn't play the IP, though. Like, if he plays the IP, then he can still go into the IP line. Oh, 1 second, he's also on the Gigantic.
Yeah, he's on the Gigantic, but the Imperm comes down, negating the Gigantic. And here we see that there was Imperm, so imagine that he didn't use the field spell on the Kit Kados. He could get Imperm on Kit Kados, then summon Gizmek, then do a Dark, then do an Elf, Elf Reborn Merely mills 3, then do a Gigantic, and then Gigantic summons and end up on Elf plus Smashers at least. Was that a move that exists? I don't know. I feel like by destroying his own Kit Kados with the field spell, he was playing better around Imperm if he milled one name, that was Merely or Sharon, but if he didn't mill like it happens here, like it happened here, then he was at the end of the turn ending with less. You know what I mean? Like it was a 50-50. That's something that can happen when you're playing a deck that also is based on kind of the RNG mills sometime. I mean, it happens sometime. I feel like his move wasn't bad because at the end of the day, milling 8 cards seems very, very fine to try and mill 5 cards. I mean, there's also Snow, so it's 6 cards you can mill. It feels okay, to be honest. But Imperm here is very hurting him because he didn't mill any name. Gizmek summons, ending on Elf. And he set a card as well that we don't know. We don't know the card, right? He didn't add Sudik during this turn. All right, so it's Ryan Yu's turn, and there's not a lot on the board. Martha is activated, Elf is chained, summon him early, tries to hit something from the top of his deck. Martha summon Ellis, obviously.
Okay, but now here is the issue. Even if you mill, you lose on the spot.
Yeah, because there's 2 effects that can summon XYZs from the extra deck. Like the Exosisters in this spot are so good, and the fact that Elf is only in main phase is very well, to me it's very well designed, because in this situation it's a real weak how to say that? It's a real weakness on this point. So right now, imagine you mill a Charlemagne's. Do you use it really?
I mean, I think you kinda have to, but you just lose. Just accepted the loss, to be honest.
Oh, there's Sudik. Sudik is the good one to mill, actually.
Think so? I mean,
it adds 1. All the others are proccing the Exosisters effect. There was Snow as well in the graveyard, but Snow is not that good of a card neither. I mean, in this situation, you can Snow, and there's gonna be only 1 Exosisters activating and resolving its effect because you'll book 1, but that's it.
Okay, so now Ryan is special
himself.
summoning Alice because he wants to use both the Alice to Xyz. So he has still the Martha in face up attack on position to deal with the Elf and the Xyz to deal with the Merle. That's a very good execution. And also there is still the Martha keeping pressure by forcing Esala to not use cards in the graveyard.
Yeah, exactly. And he's keeping Martha because it's the one that has the better stats of them all. It's always going to be this. That's
another thing that's very interesting is the fact that Michaelis not only banished on the field, but also banished from the graveyard as well. So he can force the Orochi, he can force the Snow, and he can trigger the map.
All the Exosister cards banishes from the field or graveyard because it's gimmicky. It's their gimmicks basically. All right. So he chains Michaelis to the effect of Smashers targeting. Targeting Orochi. Orochi chains to
You
Spectrum
should
itself
definitely not chain her.
because now it's gonna.
Now he has to banish Martha, right?
I mean, he has to because otherwise Martha is gonna summon one from the extra deck again.
Yeah, now he has to banish Martha and then he has to snow or resolution. Otherwise, this doesn't work.
All right. So Martha is banned. Michaelis is still on the board. Snow was summoned on resolution to try and put Michaelis face down. All right.
Yes,
Michaelis is face down.
I mean,
and
it's
then
not
Pax
like here is the
activated.
issue. Now look at your deck. At this point, I believe Esala had 9 cards in the deck. It's not 6 as it is on the screen. I'm pretty sure it was 9 cards back in the deck. Like, do you really want to banish possibly all your resources for an Orochi? I don't think you would. I would. Very risky. Very, very risky.
I think that he was feeling like I already have my tournament's name in hand maybe, and all I care about is having that body that will help me OTK, that will help me to get into a big zero Boros because I will have so many banished cards. I think in this situation, activating the Orochi, knowing that you will smashers the Martha and face down the snow, the Michaelis with snow, is not that bad in my opinion, to be honest. Because he has a line that is pretty safe. Look, this line is pretty safe to me. The only thing I would have done differently maybe is that I would have done Orochi chaining 1, Snow chaining 2 in the graveyards. So when Orochi summons and Snow summons, it's blockchain 1 Martha and it's blockchain 2 Snow. Martha is now face down, and you can with smashers banish the Mikai whatever, right? That looks better, right?
Yeah, that looks actually better.
So I think that's maybe what I would have done in this situation, but it's not. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Really, not that big of a deal. All right, let's continue. Pax is activated, adding Vadis. So Vadis in this situation can be, of course, you don't need to activate Smashers. You keep Smashers set. They do effect to banish Orochi. You chain Orochi. You chain Snow. So Smashers is still set, and then you face down the Martha, and then you smashers the Mikari, so it's whatever.
Okay, so that works. Yeah, that works. So you keep the smasher set for one more interval. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Pax adding Vadis, which is either an interruption. I mean, it's interruption and follow-ups in this situation. Esala has to keep track of the fact that he cannot activate stuff that removes cards from the graveyard. Otherwise, Vadis is gonna chain and summon 2 XYZ. He's tribute summon Shifter to kill itself. What's the point of this? What's the point of this, Nesh?
I believe so. He searched for bodies. I believe bodies. I believe that he needs to specials. I honestly, let me think about that. Might be a gamma in hand. Might be a gamma in hand. There is the possibility that there is a gamma in hand. And
no, because he cannot top deck gamma and shifter. He would have used gamma during the opponent's turn.
No, I think he top decked.
He top decked shifter.
He top decked shifter. So he
there
had
cannot be
gamma.
a gamma.
No, so there is no gamma in his hand.
There is
So
no even.
he might bluff the opponent. He's trying to bluff the opponent into thinking that there is.
Having Exosisters in the graveyard does nothing, right? Because
There is. I think.
So...
there is. 1 second. You go Vadis. Let me read Vadis real quick. There is a reason.
Pax can special summon from deck if you have the partner name in graveyard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, is that a point?
Yeah, but
to me, it doesn't change anything in this situation because he paxed first.
Yeah.
Maybe he has another Pax.
Maybe he has another Pax. Maybe another Pax.
It's not mine though.
No, but then he would set it, right?
I don't know.
Let's see how many sets.
Let's continue. So Shifter kills itself and then set 2. So it must be Pax. Yeah, it must be Pax. Ryan would not do tribute summon a monster to do nothing with it and just kill itself. Like, it makes no sense. Alright, so Shavren, Peach Hovnis, Meal 3. So at that point, there's some stuff we need to check on. So there's Merly and Offnis, and there's Vadis chained. Alright, so Vadis is chained here. It's gonna be able to summon 2 XYZ, but the Gizmek here is putting pressure as well because it's able to destroy cards. So what would you summon? What are the XYZ that you can summon at that point? Is there not a third XYZ to summon than Caspitel and Michaelis?
I mean, yes, but I don't think it does much. I don't think in this spot Ryan is doing anything. So we have a
Summoning
Sophia and an
Sophia.
Irene, but...
Yeah. So both are gonna triggers on the spot, but there's gonna be the field spell as well that's gonna trigger. I mean, the field spell here doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything because the field spell is chilling
Because
1.
the field spell is gonna be, chaining 1, so there's no way. 1 is gonna get negated by the Predaplant. There's also a Kit Kato summon here. So Irene chaining 4, Sophia chaining 5, Returnia chaining 6, banish the Dragostapelia. So both are gonna resolve because the Dragostapelia is banished in resolution. Actually. There's Caspitel and there's Michaelis summoned here. It's kind of unfortunate that he has to Returnia before summoning an XYZ, otherwise he could Returnia that banish 2 cards, right? So he chose to do this. Yeah. Is that really a good thing? Isn't it better to accept that Caspitel is not gonna be summoned this turn, and then you just summon Michaelis, and then you have 3 banish, 1 from Michaelis, 2 from Returnia? Isn't it better? Like, 1 is negated, so if, for example, Sophia is negated, it's in defense, okay? You summon Michaelis with Irene, then you can use Returnia, banish, for example, the Snow and the Gizmek, and then use Michaelis to banish
I
one
think
last
use the
monster.
Perlerino targeting this.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the Perlerino was declared, as you could see.
Alright. So Caspital mandatory effect, then on resolution there is Gizmek that destroys 1. Michaelis is chained, banishing the Snow. And at that point, Ryan is saying, show me the Ouroboros and I will concede. And Esala, show him the Ouroboros. We are up to game 2.
Yeah, he
Ryan
went
lost
for a
his
1
own
punch.
one.
That was insane.
So big. So big. Alright, let's go for game 2. Ryan Yu is able to go first. And as we saw from the round 1, Exorcister going first can put up a lot of interaction, and even more when they don't really have to care about hand traps. So in this setup, Ryan Yu seems to be favorite, but he ends up normal summoning Sophia and setting 2 back row. So this looks like a very weak opening from him. Sophia
Yeah, but
being
remember
100
that
attack points.
But remember that Exorcister has a natural good matchup against tier elements, and they gain the second effect, which makes them huge no matter what. Like with this Sophia staying on the board, basically you cannot play. Because if you start playing, then Ryan is gonna start playing. And if he summons a Caspitel with Sophia, then what happens is Caspitel mandatory effect you cannot summon anymore from the graveyard. Or he can summon a Michaelis to banish. Like, there are so many lines. Like, actually, even though this seems a very weak opening, it's still pretty good against the tier element deck.
It's still okay-ish. I would prefer to open a name that has a little bit of attack because 100 makes it so weak to everything. Here, Esala needs to be using his battle phase wisely, and we'll see that he knows that. We'll see if he uses it wisely or not, though. So he draws a card, goes into main phase, and activate instant fusion. And I think the card on its own beats the whole board, to be honest. This card should be banned, let's be honest. This
Yeah,
card should
bro,
be banned.
let's ban every card.
What
Let's
the
ban
heck?
every card. Sure. Let's ban every card.
What?
Okay, now, I think there is a mistake on Esala's side, but I think... I mean, not about the end, but about how we played or sequenced this, and I'm gonna explain what I would have done instead if I was him.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Nash on that point and think he could play it differently, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. So, Kit Kato's effect to add 1, it goes through, which is a good thing for Esala. He adds the Merly and normal summon the Merly to use the effect to mill 3 card. He touched Snow, which is a good mill in this situation. It's even better than a Tournament, to be honest, because you don't want to be using a Tournament on this situation. Then he enters battle phase at that point, and here it's kind of weird, right? So either you don't really know the engine that good, and you forget about Returnia being a card, so you forget about the fact that Merly can be handled by Returnia if there is Returnia set, which is very likely because the guy bricked, so he bricked with trap cards, obviously.
Mhm.
Or maybe he forgot that Kit Kalos cannot attack.
Because
But
of Instant Fusion. I
yeah,
believe
but
it's more likely that he forgot about Instant Fusion. To be
I would say
honest.
the opposite. I would say that it's more likely that he did not think of the fact that the set cards could destroy monsters on the field, or handle monsters.
And this
on
is the
field,
thing that I would have done if different. Here is the thing that I would have done different. Now, there is a thing that I would have done different now, is instead of summoning Kit Kalos with Instant Fusion, I would have summoned Mudragon.
Yeah, it's better.
Because then if you have a dark monster in your hand, you just use Mud called Dark, then you summon a Dark and attack, so it cannot return you.
It's just better in every situation. You also protect yourself from a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It depends though of his whole hand. Maybe he has nothing to play with and he needed Kit Kalos to resolve, but that's very unlikely as well. So we'll see how the game goes through. But definitely there was different moves you could go from. That's from there. That seems a little bit better than this one. But anyway, it can happen obviously. Yeah. So Merely attacks, but it gets met with Returnia. That is able to banish it. Still in battle phase, he activates Cyclone on the set. Judgment is banished. Then main phase 2, Kit Kalos summon a Rhino Heart, and Rhino Heart resolves as a blockchain 1, so he mills 5 first.
Okay, so you opened the Rhino Heart, right?
So he had Rhino Heart in hand.
Yeah.
So it looked better to summon Mudragon in this situation, I think, as well. But then if you normal summon Rhino Heart, you cannot use the effect of Rhino Heart to send, otherwise it's gonna climb up into an XYZ.
I mean, you can just send.
XYZ, though?
You can just send and not using the effect. Then you enter in battle phase, attack. And
I mean, it depends.
Depends. I mean, definitely depends.
It depends, but there's also the fact that, do you care about him summoning Michaelis? Because Michaelis targets, right? So it cannot target any monsters.
No, the issue is not if he summons Michaelis. I'm actually most scared if he summons Caspitel.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, I don't want to give my opponent options.
If he had one more line of play, he could go on Mudragon. But I think even if he doesn't go on Mudragon and goes on Kit Kalos, there was better things to do, definitely, than entering the
there is also, in my opinion, there are also other options, but I don't know how they would work out in this situation. Like, we have still Gibrin and Asophiel. Gibrin and Asophiel are usually not used, but they still have, like, I don't want to say Gibrin, but Asophiel has a very good effect as well. It's basically an imper. So there are too many things to take in consideration if you let your opponent resolve one Exosister effect to climb into an XC summon. So I really don't want to put myself in that predicament in which my opponent can outplay me, because I don't know exactly every effect of every card. Like, like, you can know generally what the deck does, but I don't want to put myself in a predicament in which my opponent can outplay me, if that makes sense to you.
I can agree with that. A lot of things is happening right now. He ends up sending with Rhino Heart or Merely that uses its effect, and Ryan decides to use Crow.
Okay, now Diddy Crow is gonna be insane. Diddy Crow is gonna be insane.
Crow is very good in Exosister because it allows you to use the Exosister's effect because the card is removed from the graveyard. But in this situation, he was already gonna summon from Sophia because of the tournament's effect resolving. So why did he Crow? He crows so the opponent could not go on Garura, but if he had any Aqua monster on the hand, he had to go on a Kaleido Heart, because
no, you think he's cutting off from Garura? I think he's cutting him off from Stapelia. So he can summon the Michaelis and banish for free.
From Predaplant, you said?
Yeah, I think he's cutting him off from Predaplant.
Yeah, it can also be from Predaplant. He's cutting him from... I mean, he makes him go into Kaleido. I think that's also the thing. He's making him go into Kaleido, and he's getting information from the play, because if the guy doesn't summon Kaleido, then it means that he has no Aqua in the hand, right? Yeah. So he's getting informations as well from this move.
Yeah.
Esala had in fact an Aqua from hand that was Havnis, and it has to be shuffled to summon a Kaleido, and Ryan is able to go on Sophia summons a Michaelis. Esala did not use Kaleido here.
Yeah, because it makes no sense.
It's just a normal thing to not use it, because in fact it doesn't do anything, because it will be chaining one, since Esala is the active player, is the turn active player, and then the Sophia will be chaining two. The Sophia will rank up. I mean, the Michaelis will rank up on Sophia, and the Kaleido will shuffle nothing. So that makes no sense to use it. He decides to chain Snow though, so Snow is able to banish 7 to summon itself. And to be honest, summoning Snow here
Doesn't make any
wasn't doing
sense.
a lot. Yeah, because Michaelis is summoned, and then there's Snow chaining 1, Michaelis chaining 2 to banish, and that's a lot about, I don't really know what the opponent's deck's doing. There's nothing else we can say, to be honest. Maybe he was wondering, is Michaelis effect only when it's XYZ summoned? So maybe that was about it. Anyway, I think he wasn't winning even if he wasn't using Snow on that setup.
Yeah, I
Because
think if I was a Sala, in this
Mm.
point, why would you summon the Kaleido art? I think you go for Garura at this point. Why would you waste the Kaleido art at this point? Right? And also
I
you
think
use the
that
water
maybe
monster
he
in your hand.
forgot. Yeah, he could use. Yeah, you're right. Actually, he could use Ofnis and Merly to summon the what's the name of it? The Garura, and then the opponent will try to banish it, and then you can summon Snow and go on a redoer, for example.
Yeah, definitely this was not clean at all from a Sala side. Yeah, I think this is gonna be over soon, because Ryan already went into through his engine. He has Mikali said that he's gonna flip in order to search. Not much, to be honest. Like Ryan is outplaying his opponent step by step, or his opponent is outplaying himself.
Oh yeah, it's more that only scenario, but Martha resolving, being able to summon an Elise, and then Caspitel summoned, adding a Martha again for next turn, and then chain of Gizmek, because otherwise he will not be able to summon it later on in the turn. But that makes nothing, because Gizmek is too weak on the board, so he's able to attack twice, and then makes a Magnifica in
Yes,
defense
to
mode.
summon the Gizmek, because there is the effect mandatory of Caspitel that doesn't allow your opponent to special summon from the graveyard.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he kinda has to, but this game is pretty
Doesn't
much
do nothing except protecting his life points at that point, and maybe getting more banish card in the banish pile. That's it. Magnificent effect to target. I mean, to banish the set card, and the set card is not even chained. The game just is over at that point. Esala scooped, and we go to game 3. Ryan being 1-1 at that point.
Okay, so
Kinda crazy.
kinda crazy. I didn't think Ryan opening was that strong. Sala opening was
It was
definitely
bad.
Sala
Yeah,
opening
it
was
was bad.
definitely good. I think there was a lack of knowledge about the Exorcister
Yeah.
deck,
Yeah.
because I believe if it was sequenced a little bit better, Sala could have got this dub very easily. That also shows how good of a call was from Ryan to pick a deck like Exorcister, because Exorcister is not known from a lot of players. Like, obviously, there are some players that might have tested the matchup, but usually you don't really test Exorcister against Exorcister if you're going to an event.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If someone like Esala, that is a player known to be good, ends up a little bit misplaying against Exorcister, that means that against the average duelist, you'll get so much advantage playing a deck that he doesn't know of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes it a very good choice. All right. So main phase 1, we have Esala starting activating a Bigfoot. Sending a Merly, not activating the effect of Merly, drawing a card, normal summoning Rhino, using the effect of Rhino to send a Havnis. Havnis can use its effect, shuffling itself, shuffle the Rhino to summon a Kid Kalos, keeping the Merly in the graveyard.
That's good.
Very good.
That's good.
So he keep access to the level 2 and to the mill 8 play.
That's good.
Kid Kalos adds Sulik. Kid Kalos effect to summon Merly back, and then he's able to mill 8. Alright. He doesn't touch that much, to be honest. Just a Sharon. Sharon is able to resolve, summoning a Predaplant or a Garura. Here it's a Garura that he chose to summon, so he can go on link plays and draw. He adds a Sharon with the field spell, activates the Sharon, send Zephyros, mill 3. Not a good card here to mill. Summons Elf, Elf able to resummon the Merly, and then he can go.
Link
Ooh, on
Lime into a Curious. What
That's
is gonna
very well
send this
done.
Curious? This Curious, what is gonna send? And also, from the chain link, we can see that you went Garura chain link 2 and Curious chain link 1. So now, if he's trying to go for a... because I think I analyzed with you this game state. Now, here is the thing. Why would you go chain link 1 Curious and why would you go chain link to Garura? What are scared of? And you said, no, Nash isn't scared of nothing, because if you top deck the Snow, you can just link Lime into Griffon and discard the Snow, and your Curious is gonna send a Virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
actually, makes it, because at the first glance, I think, why is it doing this weird chain link? But then, at the second glance, after Gabriel enlightened me on this, there is actually no mistake, because if you top deck even the Virus or Snow,
It's even better.
it's even better.
It's even better in this
because
situation,
you are
because
looking
if you draw
for...
one of them, then you access the second from Curious.
Yeah,
So you want to draw when there are the two of them in the deck, because you double the chance of getting one. Even though the access to Virus here is not that good, because you won't have access to Gigantic, most likely, except if the Curious hits something very good. Maybe there was a Zephyrus play that we didn't see during this whole turn, because he will end up, and we'll see it, drawing the Snow and milling 3, milling the Virus, milling milling the Virus with the Curious, and then milling 3, hitting a Merly. Merly can then use its effect to summon a Mud Dragon, and he's gonna use the Mud Dragon to summon a Griffon. Griffon effect, send the Snow, set back the Virus, and the issue here is that he ends up on no dark, really.
okay,
That's
actually...
also why we were talking about the Punk variant before, because the Punk variant allows you to put up Virus much more. I mean, it just looks easier to put up in the deck because it summons a lot, and there's Chaos Ruler as well. What do you think of this?
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. There is also another thing that I would like to take in consideration. We know he has Zephyros in the graveyard, and we know he has Snow in the graveyard at this point, right? So what I was thinking was, what if you special summon the Zephyros, bounce back the field spell, then you go Snow, then you go Dark, use Dark and Merly to go into Gigantic, pointed like in a zone that pointed by Griffon, use Gigantic effect to special summon Merly, and then pass on a 32 Gigantic without without the Elf, but you have Merly on the board, right? So it's not like bad.
I mean, so you wanted to do a dark with Mud Dragon plus Zephyros?
No. After he special summon Griffon, he has still Zephyros and Snow in the graveyard, right? So he can use Zephyros to bounce back the field spell, special summon Snow, go into Dark, and use Dark and Elf to go into Gigantic, right?
Yeah, then he can also Gigantic summon
Merle.
Blue or Jet, etc.
I wanna summon Merle in this spot. I wanna summon
because
Merle.
he has Sulik?
Yeah, because I have Sulik.
But he's playing 2 Elf, so he can summon Blue, get Jet.
Yeah, okay. So if he's playing 2 Elf, then he can do that.
Yeah, he's playing 2 Elf, so he can go... Yeah, I mean, he could access his Virus alive. I think that was a misplay from Esala. What do you think?
I mean, there is also another misplay that he did. Like instead of doing that, he could have just summoned Dracostapelia instead of a Modragon. And just use...
Instead of Modragon and use Zephyros.
Yeah.
I think that he's so focused on Zephyros, on dangers, that he forgot that he could Zephyros the field spell. What do you think of this? Or maybe it's about time. Maybe it was late at time and he didn't want to go on Zephyros because he was scared of the time rule, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
there is
option,
obviously...
right?
The only thing we couldn't take in consideration when we were doing those replays was the time. So, without knowing the time, we cannot really say if this was a misplay, an hiccups, or it was just... a safe play.
But we're giving you guys the information so you can choose yourself. All right, let's continue. So Ryan is in a setup where he has to face actually 3 back row, a Griffon, and an Elf, which is a lot. But there's no Virus in standby phase, and Feather is activated, destroying everything. That's actually so...
Yeah, that's actually huge. So, he also said... Super Poly. That's weird. I think,
I mean...
actually, is it weird? I don't think it's weird, actually. Because you can go later on, possibly in any Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos is gonna add the card, making Super Poly live. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's also a reason to not understand why he didn't Zephyros, because he would have the field spell in hand and he would be able to super poly directly. So I just think it's about the time rule, to be honest, or he really forgot the existence of the Zephyros in his graveyard, which is also possible. Feather dealing with 4 cards here, 3 very good one, but Sulik is able
And
to
I
add.
think after you add with the Salik, you have to use the elf here. So I would never wait for my opponent to normal summon. I would be so scared.
Definitely. So here Merly was summoned under Elf. So it's a little bit blurry because it's edited, but it will come back to normal. Then he's shuffling 2 to summon a Dragostapelia. Pot of Prosperity is activated here, and Griffin is just destroying the matchup, man. Like, the Exosisters are not able to activate their effects.
Yeah.
His meals are not that good, and he decides to take Edis here because, I mean, nothing else was making him play. He would like to see a Martha here, and he didn't see one, but he has packs. So he's able to add the Martha and continue playing. Effect of Martha that summon itself, summon an Edis from the deck. Edis is able to summon from the hand afterward, and he's going into Michaelis, trying to attack over the Griffin so he can finally activate
this is smart.
His monster effects.
This is smart. This is actually smart. Okay, here is the thing. Okay, now I definitely, in this position, I would use the Snow to book the Sophia. Because it's gonna be Snow special summon, it's gonna be Chilling 1 Sophia, Chilling to Snow to book the Sophia, okay? He cannot use the Martha because it was special summon and then Griffins. Yes?
Wait,
what's up?
Okay, I get what you mean. Can you continue? Sorry.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanna use the Snow to set the Sophia because it's gonna be Chilling 1 Sophia, Chilling to Snow. And Martha cannot activate because it was special summoned and Griffon is still like applying pressure. And there is there anything that I would have done, to be honest? I don't think so.
I mean, the fact is that if you do so, he's not able to clear the Griffin. Really
or you can
well
actually use the Stapelia.
Okay,
so you can actually book the Michaelis
and
negate the Sophia. Yeah.
That's fine as well. I don't think Exosisters are playing cards to interact with those quick effects in battle phase. No droplets, no
like
Callies,
Griffon
nothing.
literally, Griffon is literally FTK.
Yeah, preventing everything.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a killer in this situation. Trying to beat those two, summoning a Snow to keep the Griffin away from the destruction, and then there is the Predaplant negating the Sophia. Set 2. And he starts the turn with so many monsters that it's already kind of over.
Yeah.
Elf is able to summon a Merly. Merly is able to use the effect, showing a Merly itself that will use the effect. We have a counter on Sophia because Sophia is currently negated by Predaplant. Kit Kalos adding a Rhino Heart, and here we have something interesting.
Yeah.
So you have to talk about that.
Okay, so basically, during the feature match, it was written that he special summoned Rhino and used the effect. The only way this was possible was if he was summoning in a pointed zone. So basically, if you guys read the Kit Kalos special summons the monster before and then pops itself. So what happened here was Esala sent Kit Kalos in the graveyard and special summoned Rhino in the same zone Kit Kalos was. But to be honest, it's a very common mistake. You don't even think about that most of the times. But in this scenario, it came out to be a real thing.
It wasn't changing anything. The game state was already won, I think, from the perspective of Esala, so it's whatever. So Rhino Heart was summoned. Let's say that this illegal play is a good one. I mean,
he could have just normal summoned, to be honest, so it was
normal summon was fine. Then summoning a Kaleido using its effect to shuffle something, and we have Ryan saying, I have literally 0 outs to overturn this end board. GG from Esala, GG from Ryan. Ryan scooping at that point.
So we have top 16 now. But before starting, let me do the introduction.
All right.
Steven Santoli from Hamilton, Ontario made it into the top cut using a Spright deck that doesn't just include frogs, but also includes live twins and runic cards. All of the live twin monsters are level 2 monsters, giving them a natural synergy with the Spright cards. The Tactical Master gives Santoni additional power by allowing him to deal with a variety of different situations and draw a ton of cards with incredibly strong runic content. Luke Parks from Sheffield, England, is using a Tier Elements Danger deck, but there is a twist to his deck too. He's using Branded Eye Spirits and Albion Shrouded Dragon in his deck and uses Branded Eye Spirits to send D3S Frog from his extra deck to his graveyard and send Sharon, Merly, and Ophenis from his end to his graveyard and trigger their effect. So, this looks like a very interesting match. Let's move on and let's see what happens.
Let's go. So we have Luke Park starting with the field spell, adding a Rhino. And then we have normal summon a Rhino using its effect to send a Sharon.
And
Sharon effect, shuffle itself and the Rhino to summon a Kid Kalos. So this is the basic line. Kid Kalos adding a Merly.
Yeah.
And then Kid Kalos effect to summon the Merly. So the fact that he doesn't normal summon Merly and goes on Merly's effect means that he has no dangers in hand. Otherwise, I think you would normal summon Merly, use the effect to Mer 3, and then use a danger to summon the danger, goes into an elf, and then maybe Kid Kalos to resummon the Merly, maybe something like that. But the fact that he does that maybe means he has no dangers, or he has an ID that we don't know of. Merly will mill 3, Kid Kalos will mill 5, a total of 9 cards will...
a total of 8 cards. Then he's gonna trigger 3 effects. He's gonna trigger the Merly, he's gonna trigger the... Yeah, that's definitely a good meal. And then Salik is gonna add.
It's also better to mill 8 at once because you're able to use the Tier Elements effects better if you mill like darks and stuff, you know. If you milled 3 with Merly and then 5 with Kid Kalos, maybe he will not be able to use both effects that he were able to use here.
So we end up in a game state in which we have Mud Dragon and Garura, and now he goes for the Bigfoot, and Bigfoot is gonna discard the Alphenis. He's not gonna trigger the Alphenis because he already used it, right?
Then we have a Mothman summoning, drawing one as well, and then he can go on Link Plays. And again, we can see that Nibiru on those spots is very hard to beat. Like for real, Nibiru is a card you guys should consider playing. Maybe they will go back to the punk ways of playing the deck just to try and take care a little bit.
I think the Luna Light does
scenarios.
just better than punk, and every card is alive and plays consistently to Nibiru, putting up a very easy Dweller. Because here is the issue about the deck: you can go into Dweller, but you have to sequence your line, you have to think about a lot of stuff, you put yourself in a very weird spot in which you have to think about your place to have 2 level 4, you have to commit a lot in order to end with a Dweller, when in the Luna Light way, it's so easy that you don't even need to think about it, and it's just summon an easy Apollosa, summon an easy Curious. Like, the Luna Light makes your life so easy that it's kinda shocking to me that people are not on that deck list yet. So, anyways, we see Nibiru we see that Nibiru might actually shut down the entire Parks board, but that doesn't seem incorrect to me the way he's playing. I think he's playing still correctly. It's just a weakness that he cannot really...
He's doing Dragon for Light.
Yeah, okay, that's weird because okay, let's say you call Light because you want to protect your Curious, but your Curious is already protected by Elf. So this doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Any difference at that point. Maybe it's just something he's used to do in situations where he doesn't have Elf, so he keeps doing it. I mean, what's the point of calling Dark ready? Just to be able to resolve Tier Elements better, maybe, in some situations, but that's it.
Yeah.
Both are not that good. Sushi summon, milling an Imperm, so Luke is playing Imperm main deck. That's interesting to know. And then we have Curious summoning, and Ash was kept for the Curious, which is funny.
Do you think he should have used Ash before? I kind of think so. Like, if you wait until this spot to use the Ash...
You revealed your hand. It means that you don't want to get virused. Literally, it just means that... I think that it was hard to use Ash on a different setup because the game was literally activate field.
I mean, you don't want to get virus, but virus is already in the graveyard.
Yes, but virus was randomly milled.
I guess.
And at that point, the only setup you can Ash on is Curious, because the only one other you could Ash on was normal summon Rhino. At that point, he decided not to Ash because he wanted to keep his Ash for the Curious to try and protect himself from the virus. But unfortunately, the virus was milled randomly, so now it's a problem. I think that using Ash on Reno is something you can do, but it's getting beaten by everything in the game, so it's kind of weird. It also protects from snow in the setup. Yeah, that's true. People are right in the chat. Um, I don't know. That feels okay. You cannot Ash Griffin because it's not co-linked. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you
He
would
uses
only be
Griffin.
able to Ash the Griffon only if it's co-linked, and most likely will not summon a co-linked Griffon because the the elf points left and right and doesn't point under. If it was pointing under, then the Ash would have been correct on the Griffon, but since it's not gonna be co-linked, then Ash is gonna be dead. He's gonna use in draw phase the effect of the virus in order to call spells, and now we see multiple chains from Santoni. Let's see how this is gonna resolve.
So this is Blockchain 1 Virus tributing the Bigfoot, Blockchain 2 Starter to Special Summon, Blockchain 3 Quickfire to destroy the Elf, and Blockchain 4 Runic Tip to Special Summon. Alright, so then we have Hugin that Special Summon, Elf that is Destroy and Banish 2, and then Blue that is Summon. At this point he cannot use Blue effect because there's Griffin. So he's instead showing his hand, of course, for the virus, and then going on an elf. Elf is going to be able to use its effect once it's linked. I mean,
yeah.
linked,
So let's explain this.
Let's
explain this. So linked means link is not co-linked that two arrows point to each other. And when a monster is linked,
not pointed neither.
Yeah. Basically, linked means that your link monster has to point to a card, to a monster. Or has to be pointed by, or a monster has to be pointed by a link. That's what does linked mean. So if you normal summon Frost in a zone that Elf points to, that means that your Frost is linked with Elf and Elf is linked with Frost. That means that you will be able to use the Elf effect because Griffon only stops not linked effect special summoned monster.
Yeah, in this situation, we can say that this card is pointed by Elf. Both those cards are linked to each other, and none of those cards are co-linked, basically.
Yeah.
So Griffin is a skill drain for people that are not linked, but here both are linked, so everything's fine. And then he's able to use...
It's not like skill drain, it's only for special summoned monster, but it's kind of, yeah.
Exactly. So he's able to summon Blue from the graveyard with Elf, and to link it as well to be able to use its effect. Summon Jet. Jet is gonna special summon but not be able to use the effect because it won't be linked, but he's gonna be able to summon it later on. We'll see. He's gonna do
and I think here he played out of his mind. He literally here played out.
Merly will be able to special summon a Lila because Merly is a dark, so he can target a Merly to special summon Lila from his deck, and then he's gonna use Lila and Kissikil to summon. Oh, he's gonna do something before, sorry.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Here is the thing.
Here is the thing. Like in my opinion, like this was even more amazing because he thinked through the entire Mannequin Cat line and he special summoned the Merly in a zone that's not linked. So Merly cannot mill cards. Now, but there is also another point that we have to take in consideration is that Santoni has to skip his battle phase this turn because he used runic cards. So let's see how it plays out. And we see now a Lila hitting the board and he controls a Kisila kill Frost. That means that the Lila, the Evil Twin Lila, will be able to pop the Griffon and now he can freely play. This guy literally fucking played out of his mind.
And he's able to summon Jet and use its effect this time to get a Smashers or a starter, or a starter, and he'll be able to summon an elf and then use the Lila effect to get into his basic loop, which is the basic Evil Twin loop, that will allow him to have a destroy one on the board. He skips his battle phase and enter end phase. Don't forget, guys, that the ruling right now is that you gotta announce that you skipped your battle phase, otherwise it's gonna be the next one again. This is just This is just amazing. Like the way he played his whole turn. I don't know how much time he took thinking, if it was something very basic for him to do or not. But this turn is just very well done. Congratulations, to be honest.
Yeah,
He has a lot of control over his engines, and
yeah.
that also show up why he's in top 16 with the deck. He definitely has a lot of control over it. I don't know about the build because I didn't see the list. Maybe sometime some people, some players are very good with the deck, but don't have a very good build, or the opposite can have a very good build but not be very good with the deck. And I think that at least Santoli is very good with the deck, at least, because we've seen something that needs needs a very good comprehension of the deck, really. Like,
Yeah, I'm very happy when I see stuff like that, to be honest. I'm very
Yeah.
happy. I feel genuinely very happy when I see someone playing so smartly, to be honest. I think that was very well done.
Now there's Luke Parks in the chat asking us to skip the top 8 match, but we won't.
I'm sorry, Luke. I'm sorry, Luke.
I'm sorry, dude.
Look, don't take it personally, but I have to roast your ass.
Anyway. So we have Luke that added the High Spirit last turn. It's also a reason why High Spirit is a good card in the deck. It gives you follow-up. If you mill it randomly from cards during your turn, you'll be able to return it in the end phase. And this is his follow-up right now, and it's a very good follow-up because combined with any Aqua in the hand, it's gonna do a lot. When I mean Aqua, I mean tournaments cards, obviously. He's gonna show a Shyren, send the fucking frog, send the Shyren and add the Shrouded Dragon.
Why are you so mean to the
Shyren.
frog? The frog is a nice guy.
Fuck this frog, man. Fuck this frog, I'm gonna be real with you. I dislike this frog a lot. So Shyren is gonna be able to use its effect. Red is gonna try it and negate it, tributing the elf. And then there's gonna be Hafnis that's gonna be chained. Hafnis is gonna mill 3. Leave the Merly, and then Merly is gonna use its effect, and that's a lot of good stuff. Like, this mill was actually kinda unfortunate for Santoli because it could also whiff and look.
Yeah, if it was whiffing, actually
spot.
Santoli had a good chance.
But at that point, touching here was very good. I don't know if he was winning though, because we don't really know what Luke had in hand at that point, and Santoli is still in the setup where every card he draw cannot be a spell or a trap, so he cannot draw the runics, he cannot draw imperm if he has imperm, etc. So his draw face is half dead, let's say. But yeah, definitely hard for him, hard setup. And yeah, it's enough for him. He decides to scoop it up, and he's right to do so. Don't forget in this format that scooping fast is very important, because game 3 is kind of always going in time, and when you play a runic deck, the time rule is not your friend if you're not going first, obviously. Skipping your battle phase for activating any card of the engine makes it so if the opponent did a loop to win life points, you need to wait one more turn to be able to inflict damage, and that's very hard. So he's right to scoop as soon as he realized that the game is lost. He's going first this time. Luke Parks is gonna go second, and we'll see. Maybe the runic cards are gonna put up a lot of works.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Ooh. Okay.
That's interesting. That's
Okay.
interesting. Field spell plus a random name of runic that allows him to use the field spell as an upstart and the runic card as a level 2, which makes it so the field spell is not that much of a break, because combined to a card, it's just an upstart, which is fine.
Okay, but now...
So doing this, by the way, is showing off that he has no other name in the hand, because if he had another name, another runic name, he will more likely do a Gigantic and then use the other name to summon another Hilgrim, and then at that point use the field spell to draw 2, I think.
Yeah.
So right now, Luke Parks has the information that there is no other runic cards except for another Flashing Fire, maybe. That's the only card he can have. By the way, I did a mistake by saying that he could not draw imperm because it spelled or trap.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, no, to be honest, you were not wrong. He could not draw imperm because it's a dead draw anyways. So that's why I didn't correct you. Because he was losing anyways on the spot if he was drawing imperm. Like, there is no spell or trap that wins him the game in that spot. It can only be
monsters and
yeah.
even monsters.
So that's
and-
why I did not correct you. It's not like because I did not
Thanks.
notice. It's not like because I did not notice you, but because you were actually right. There is no spell or trap that actually can turn Santoni out of this predicament.
All right, let's go from there. We have Santori drawing one in his hand.
Okay.
Is kinda bad, it seems. Summon a carrot and gets Reapered. We've seen Reapered in a lot of tournaments deck. The one of Jesse, the one of Urina must have Reaper as well. The one of Luke Parks. A lot of good players going on Reaper. Seems like a good idea, to be honest.
Let's
in a
talk
deck that is
about it.
playing, the
Let's talk
Spright
about
engine
it.
in the extra deck.
I kind of
Yeah.
want to talk about it. So, Reaper is very good in a deck that can mix both the Tier Element engine and the Spright engine. And as we were talking, like, do you remember at the start of the format when I said, I don't think Spright pure is good, but I think the engine is good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. That's basically what happened. We got a Spright we got a Tier Elements combo deck that's running a little Spright engine. And now
Well, you
Reaper
should give
becomes
credit
good.
to Spright. Spright is still good on its own. Let's be honest, it's not that bad of a
I don't
deck.
think it's bad, but Tier Elements has just way more pushes. When you can basically the thing about Spright is the fact that you can predict their line of play. You cannot do the same with the Tier Elements, creating a lot of spots in which your opponent can do mistakes.
I think that the good point about tournaments is the fact that instead of trying to disallow your opponent from playing, you try to find a way to play, so you create more line of plays because you're playing a lot less free spots, so you have like hands full of line of plays and you can
Okay,
make a
so
difference as
what
a
does he
player.
call with the
But
Reaper?
I don't know.
Let's see.
I think elf mostly, no?
Let's see. Let's talk
All
about
right.
it. Okay, so he shows the elf. Okay, now here is the thing. I have a problem with this call. Now, if my opponent has starter, why would he waste an interruption to draw one card? Because wasting Flashing Fire in order to special summon a level 2 seems like too neg to me. When you can just keep it as an interruption and go with starter, right?
I caught you in 4K, Nesh. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You're saying that he cannot, like, because there's no starter in the hand, he should Reaper the
No,
Gigantic. That's what
I
you're saying.
think there is no starter, there is no blue.
So
That's
he
what I
should-
think.
So he should Reaper the Gigantic, right?
Because you never special summon Carrot in this game state, in this position.
Okay, but you're wrong. You're wrong because of Mana Queen Cat, dude. Hey!
What do you mean? Why? Wait. Why are you?
Because if you Reaper the Gigantic, he's able to Mana Queen Cat summon the Reaper and summon blue from the deck.
Can he do the same thing?
Yeah, but then there's no elf.
No, but one second, brother. So, what you are telling me is,
Yeah,
if
I'm
he
telling
goes
you that-
Reaper now, calling Gigantic, he goes into Mannequin Cat, special summon the Reaper on my board, which is not bad at all, and then he goes into what? Blue?
Yeah.
Blue, Jet.
Smashers, and he has also the elves in the extra deck. While if you Reaper choosing the elf, even if he can access to Gigantic, the fact that he has no elf for the whole match makes it so you win the grind game.
But
think
if you
it's
Reaper now, he ends on Toad.
If you Reaper the elf, he ends on Toad.
Well, let me do the math.
Yeah, he can end on
Yes,
Toad.
he ends on Toad. He
It
did
will
not
be
normal
Toad- It will
summon.
be Toad no elf. So Toad that is targetable and Toad that doesn't come back.
Okay,
So
are
it's
you
just negate.
are you actually more scared that him ending, like, I would actually be more scared that him ending on Toad instead of him
Nah.
ending on the Spright.
Nah, that's impossible to be more scared of because the Mana Queen Cat is gonna be a pain. Like imagine he summon Mana Queen Cat, he gets access to Smashers, then he has access to Elf for the whole duel. He has access to Elf for the whole duel instead of having no Elf for the whole duel. Plus, he did a lot of card advantage. He will have a lot of monsters on the board. Plus, he will have still the Mana Queen Cat that will summon during the opponent's turn, and he can be playing stuff like Scythe, etc. So. I don't know.
Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with your point. I guess that's a fair
I
point.
think it's better to touch health if you want to win the game. I don't think Todd is that good of a card in this situation, and he can also put pressure on Santoli because there can be super poly as well. Do you really want to make Todd without Elf? I don't know. It's a weird one, but I would use Cherries for Elf here. I don't know if Luke Parks did it knowingly that there's gonna be Mannequin Cat. I don't think so because it's a tricky one. But when I see,
I mean, he used the Mannequin Cat. Santoli used the Mannequin Cat in the previous game.
Still, you've seen the Mannequin Cat game 1 and you didn't think of it. I think it's very tricky. But I think at the end of the day, it's better to use it on the Elf. But it's definitely something we can argue about.
It's not because I didn't think about it. I'm thinking that Todd is scarier.
No, you said he has no access to blue. But he has access
Oh, I
to
said
blue
that he has no
Mannequin
access to blue. Yeah, so then you are right. I didn't think
But
about
anyway,
the Mannequin Cat.
Elf is banished.
Out in
and
4K, that's crazy.
Caught in 4K. Caught in 4K. That's so rare that I have to mention it. Alright, so summon red. And now we see that he has access to Todd. But it's not going to be a good Todd. I'm kinda surprised that he didn't Mannequin Cat. I think that maybe he was thinking it's not worth giving him the body of Cherries, which is something I understand. But it depends. Like, if he was playing something like Scythe, I guess he would do the Mannequin Cat.
Wait, what do you want to
because
do?
he's
You
not
want to do Mannequin Cat now? So instead of
Not
Gigantic,
now, but-
you want to do Mannequin Cat?
Yeah, I think. This is
I'm
something
kind of
we can
down
do.
to analyze the line. Okay, so let's say Mannequin Cat, okay?
Yeah, then
Then he
summons
special
the
summon the Ghost
cherries.
Reaper.
So there is Cherries here,
Yeah,
and then he summons Blue.
yeah,
Okay. So then Blue summons Jet.
yeah,
So then there is the Smashers here.
yeah,
So this is Mannequin Cat, and this is the Runic.
yeah.
And then you can go on one of them.
No, you have to
it's
use a
gonna be
bot
Jet.
to go. You have
No,
to
you can use Jet and this to go on Gigantic.
Jet and Red. You want to use Jet and Red?
No, Jet, not Red. Red is not here. It's Mannequin Cat.
Yeah,
Red is under the Mannequin
Okay, so
Cat.
you wanna
So
what you
this is
wanna
the
use for
Runic.
Gigantic?
Runic plus Jet because I wanna get back my blue in hand with swap maybe.
Wait, one
I
second.
was
How
thinking
did you make the Mannequin Cat then?
with red and carrot?
So
With
red
red
and
and carrot.
carrot, and there is. And why would you do that? Why would you not use the wings, the Eugene? It's the same thing, no?
But you cannot use Eugene for Mannequin Cat. It's not Gigantic, dude.
No, I'm saying. Oh, wait, what? Bro, I think I'm missing something.
Okay, you have 3 monsters on board, which is red, carrot, and Hugin. You cannot use Hugin to do Mannequin Cat because it's.
It's what?
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. I'm dumb. So you wanna keep red? Let's keep red.
Yeah,
You're
I want to
right,
keep
actually.
red. So instead of this Gigantic, we have a Mannequin Cat.
We have a Mannequin here. We have blue here and Jet there, and we have Smashers in hand.
No, you cannot
Okay.
summon in the extra monsters on the Mannequin Cat. Because you don't have elf anymore.
Well,
Like, do you-
can
I mean,
that.
do you wanna do
It
that?
Makes no.
Makes no
does it
difference.
change something?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm actually scared to special summon in the extra monster zone in this setup. What's the attribute of Mannequin Cat? Should it be Earth? But I think it's Earth, right? One sec.
Elf?
Mannequin.
What do you mean?
Mannequin Cat. The
It's a beast.
it's an attribute. I'm asking for the attribute.
Oh, it's
G.
a light.
It's a light.
It's a light. This is the setup. Then you do a Gigantic with blue plus Jet, I guess.
Yeah.
Gigantic summons a swap, and then you swap send Ronin,
Yeah.
and then you do a Todd,
Yeah.
basically.
That was
And
way
you have the
better, actually.
Smashers. But you give cherries. You give the body of cherries.
I mean, do I give a fuck? I don't.
No,
That's fine.
I mean, so Mannequin Cat line was better. You think?
Yeah, I think it was better.
Because this is only Toad. Again, Mannequin Cat being the best card of Spright. People are not playing Mannequin Cat. I don't get it.
I think it's
So
a
you would
crazy card.
have Toad plus red plus Mannequin Cat plus Smashers plus access to blue and Jet under the Gigantic. It's just better, much better. Crazy that he didn't see it. Kind of disappointed, to be honest.
After
But
the
that
game
just
one.
happens. It's a
After the
tricky
game
one.
one.
It's a tricky one, guys. It's a tricky one.
But here is the thing. Here is the thing. Okay, let's think about it, actually. Let's talk about
Mhm.
it. Okay, so
Mhm.
in his mind, he's going for Gigantic Sprout. Then there is a Cherries that actually changed his entire line of play But then he's still stuck in the tunnel with the gigantic. That's the thing.
That's it. That's the thing, definitely. But still, like when I started to play the deck, the first thing not the first thing, I'm lying, but one of the first things I started doing and training and studying was when I get interrupted with hand traps, do I unlock Mana Queen Cat lines to get the colors and stuff. So it's kind of unfortunate that he didn't think of it, because it would make his game so much easier in the spot. Like the game was won at that point, really. So there's super polymerization being activated, using Toad and Swap Frog to summon the Garura. Garura has not a lot of attack points, not able to attack over red, not able to attack over gigantic. There's Nessie used here, and he's using red at that point. We can be like, oh, he's using red because he thinks it's the only way he wins by making Luke Parks breaks, but actually he had so many hand traps in hand. We'll see. Rhino is met with an Ash Blossom, and then he'll be able to go on the Dark. Dark will summon something from the graveyard of Santoli. Actually, it's kind of funny that he didn't have Blue or Jet, because otherwise Luke would be able to summon Blue or Jet here.
Yeah.
So maybe it's because of that as well.
Oh, maybe he think about it. Wait.
I don't think so, because still you have Smashers.
Yeah,
so
you have
Dark will not
Smashers,
resolve,
actually.
but
Nah, you have Smashers.
It's funny that you always find improvements on moves. So Nessie is activated again. Discard the Rhino Heart, draw a card, and then Nibiru is activated. And at that point, we know Swap Frog in hand, so Luke is kinda cooked, but there is no elf. So no elf means that Swap needs to send another Swap, then Ronin needs to summon itself, and then maybe we'll see
Wait a
something.
second. From the backstage, they told me that he top decked blue.
Oh my goodness.
Holy!
Blue summoned, and then Jet is gonna summon as well. To be honest, he had access to this through Mannequin Cat or through Gigantic, so not that good of a top deck. But right now, he was going on Mannequin Cat summoning a color, and Gigantic summoning the others, accessing to the Evil Twin package. So Luke Parks decides to scoop it up and to goes into game 3. We've seen very good moves from both sides. We've seen moves that could be improved from both sides as well, which is totally normal. And we're going into game 3, but both players are very good, and we don't know who's gonna win. Who's gonna win, guys? You can bet. Do we do a bet now?
Do we do a bet when there is a written feature match? Are you stupid?
Luke is going first now.
Okay.
All right. So we have Luke activating Terraforming, getting the field spell. Activating the field spell, getting Rhino Heart, and normal summoning Rhino Heart to use the effect.
Okay, that
Sharon
seems...
is sent, and
I
it
mean,
looks like the
very
game
streamlined line again. Like, he's doing very simple lines of a play here, to be honest. Like, seems like the play that you do when you play tier elements pure, you know? Doesn't seem the way you play tier elements with dangers.
Yeah, true. Even though this line is so strong that I understand that he's going for it. Again, meeting 2 names, being able to resolve them because he milled 8 at once. Summoning a Garura, summoning a Predaplant more likely. Then he's able to go on an elf, Garura drawing a card, and then sending 2, trying to end his main phase. And this is the type of things people are doing to play around me when they don't play the Punk Engine, for example. Here his end is so strong that he's able to try and enter end phase, and if he gets meet with an Nibiru, he'll maybe still be able to play through it. And if he doesn't get meet by Nibiru, then he still have a very good board. Nibiru is activated here, tributing everything, and he's chaining elf to make the token even bigger.
That's the only reason.
To be able to destroy it. And that's very interesting when the opponent's playing the runic cards, because the token is
may actually matter.
Yeah.
Then Bigfoot
afterward, getting hit, being able to destroy the Nib. Then Mothman is activated, discarded Chupa. Mothman is drawing 1, Chupa is reborning Bigfoot, and then he's ending his phase like that. Then he's gonna be able, normal summoning Ronin, and then special summon with starter, the blue. Oh my god, this is a very good hand from Santori. Add Jet with blue. Jet is gonna special summon, but there's the virus.
Okay, that's
god.
Big. That's big. And now we see why he prioritized to have the Bigfoot on the board. That's actually insane. This is gonna probably leave Santoli with no cards.
That's very sad because he used Totter already, so he's now stuck.
Yeah, now he has to set. Probably the impermanence is gonna be in the set column of Luke Parks, but I don't think.
Zephyros.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna make the difference. I don't know why he didn't use a Zephyros on the field spell. From analyzing the game state, because he had the one Shaden and one Snow in hand, so by adding back the Mothman in this position, he had a 100% it. But to be honest, I still think it was not correct. That's my opinion on that.
I can agree with that. Let's be honest, this is game because of the life points. Too many attack points on the board, sorry. And we're going for top 8. Luke Parks winning the game.
Yeah, like we see that he climbed into the Charmer, then he special summoned back the blue from the graveyard. It was too many pushes and Santoli just could not keep the peace. So yeah.
Alright, let's go for next